next game.
All right, sticking in the South region, it is the 2:15 matchup played in Cleveland. Michigan State against Bryant. Sparty, an 18.5-point favorite.
So two things. I want this game, but I want Michigan State in general. A lot of people have them making a deep run. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard for me to trust Michigan State to go deep because I don't trust them as a shooting team. And I'm surprised, one of the things that I keep hearing, sort of a meta thing, is teams who start an unranked and finish with such a high seed like Michigan State did almost never have success in the tournament. St. John's falls into that same category, I believe. But they're just teams that have outperformed preseason success so greatly that it's hard. And just, again, both those teams profile kind of the same way as teams that I don't trust to score. And at the end of the day, it's hard for me to want to back a team all the way that I don't trust to score.
It's funny because we talk about the tournament as in, is it a tournament team? But there's really two different things in the tournament. One is, are you going to cover the spread on any given game? Because if a team came in every year as a 20-point underdog and covered and lost, we'd love them. Right?
Small sample.
Well, but let's say they did it 8. I mean, let's say they did it like the Mountain West does it the opposite, right?
Yeah. Boy, they got a big sample size.
But on the other hand, to make the finals, to make the Final Four is a whole different kind of thing. So I would guess, and I'm going to look at this, the St. John's of the world, the teams that didn't start out strong but emerged, probably do pretty well early rounds, I'm guessing. I think it's just they don't have the pedigree. If you're not, it's back to that Allen Boston thing. If you're not good enough to be in the top 12, it doesn't matter what 6 weeks in, you're not going to get good enough to win it.
I wonder, and the stat to repeat that we talked about yesterday, since 1985, according to Ken Pom, 39 teams as a 1 or a 2 seed were not ranked in the AP top poll, in the AP poll before the season. None of them out of the 39 made the Final Four. And so that would be St. John's and Michigan State this year.
That's mind-blowing. Yeah. 1 and 2 seeds, it really is. Wow.
I wonder if we look at those 39 teams, though, did they have the coaching pedigree that St. John's and Michigan State have this year? Because it's easy to see a team that was not expected to be good that just has an incredible run through the regular season and winds up as a 1 or a 2 seed. But when you have like an established program, and maybe not so much for St. John's, but of course Pitino's an established coach, but for Tom Izzo to all of a sudden take a group that was not expected to do much and turn it around and implement his system like Pitino's done with these kids at St. John's, I don't consider that to be flukish. I consider that to be great coaching.
But, AJ's going to remember this. Temple was like this. Temple was a team that would lose 10 or 12 games, but they always played tough competition, and they had a reputation of doing well in the tournament. What was his Chaney? Chaney, yeah.
John Chaney, yeah.
So it feels like that to me, but I think once it becomes, he's good in the tournament, it usually doesn't help you ATS. Once people are saying you don't want
you pay the tax.
Yeah.
Like that one time, like when Sparty was playing George Mason, that was like a Friday night game, if you recall, RJ. So Michigan State was laying 3.5, and then they just kept betting it, and it closed -6, and the Sparty lost outright.
So Izzo, 50 games coached in the tourney, 14, 15, and 1 ATS.
There you go. Anything else on Michigan State, AJ?
On the game or just Michigan State overarching?
Either way, whatever you got something on.
Yeah, I'll go to the game, and a lot of this is more about Bryant than it is about Michigan State. Bryant, they profile as the team that I don't want to play as a dog, a team that goes really fast and can't shoot. That's a horrible combination. Bryant, top 10 in the country in adjusted tempo, and just a poor three-point shooting team, so you don't have to worry about that three-point variance that kind of will help an underdog at times. They're kind of like we were talking earlier about Robert Morris, a team that just kind of out-athletes a bad conference, the American East, a very bad conference. And when they have played up this year, they only played 2 teams that are tournament-caliber teams this season. They played St. John's, who, like we just said, kind of profiles similar to Michigan State. They lost by 22 to St. John's, let St. John's score 99, and they lost by 46 points to Grand Canyon. That's just a horrific sign that this team just has no business playing up in competition. And I just think Michigan State can kind of name their number here. Again, just without that 3-point variance, there's really no path in my mind for Bryant to be competitive in this game.